Hi, my name is Jared Landry, and this is This Week in the National Football League. And this week in the National Football League, a lot of really cool things went down.
Colin had his chance to be here.
This week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had 501 yards of offense and only scored 3 points. It also featured this glitch in the Matrix. It's not all bad news for the Jaguars in the midst of a 3-game losing streak because Florida voted in favor of counting ex-cons votes just 3 weeks after Barry Church and others were arrested in London. They may not make the playoffs, but at least they can vote again. In 2 wild games, the Titans beat the Patriots and the Browns beat the Falcons. Here to talk more on those 2 games, that guy at your Super Bowl party who always says, freaking throw it.
Dude, the Patriots freaking suck, man. Like, as a Patriots fan, it's like freaking birth. I know what it's like when they're actually good. Like, freaking Marcus Mariota isn't even freaking old enough to play in the NFL. Like, and whenever I see those freaking Titans fans, I'm always like, name 3 freaking players, and they're like, oh. I'm like, freaking Jamie Collins, Malcolm Butler, and like, freaking Wes Welker, and they usually freaking shut up because I actually know what I'm talking about. The Browns, though, man, they're freaking like, could be freaking like legit, and people like freaking keep counting them out, and I'm like, no, man, look out, they could be actually like sneaky freaking good. That's why I tell everyone, like, whenever I see them, like, freaking like Cleveland Browns, like, they're good, and people are always like, wow, you're actually like pretty freaking smart with football. I'm like, freak yeah, man.
In free agency news, Dez Bryant was picked up by the Saints twice, once when he signed a 1-year contract and the second when he was carried off the field after immediately tearing his Achilles. Dez joins William Henry Harrison as the fastest people in American history to file for workers' comp. In his honor, multiple Saints players toss up his famous X touchdown celebration. On the other side of the country, members of the Seahawks and Rams both gave Floyd Mayweather balls after scoring their touchdowns. Good thing he wasn't at the Saints game, or else he would have been very confused by their celebrations. After Matt Barkley's stunning performance against the Jets this week, the Bills released one of my favorite quarterbacks, Nate Peterman. In his remembrance, let's take a look at his highlights.
Did you really leave me again? After all the seasons I spent waiting, watching out the window, listening at the door, waiting for the news of your return, for the news that you realized that someone important was waiting for you. A whole lifetime I've been waiting. I can't believe you're not coming back. I can't believe I'm supposed to stop waiting. I can't believe you left me again.
Nathan Peterman, this one is for you. Oh. This week, Tyreek Hill took time out of his Sunday to film the new Cloverfield. Next week's game between the Rams and Chiefs was scheduled to play in Mexico City, but was moved to LA due to poor field conditions from a caravan of a legion of Central American migrants armed with olifants and bows and arrows passing through it. When asked how he handles stress, Cam Newton responded that he turns to comfort food, which doesn't make sense how him and Kelvin Benjamin didn't get along. On a critical 4th down play, Derek Carr threw the ball away. Here with 5 options of what Derek Carr could have done, Coach Magoo.
Oh my God, he on X Games mode.
It's me, Coach Magoo. These are Coach Magoo's 5 points and 5 options of what to do instead of throwing the ball away on 4th down. Number 1, just throw the ball to somebody. Whether they're on offense or defense, at least you're trying to get a completion. Number 2, you take a sack. Oh boy, who cares? At least you tried. Number 3, call in sick and have that 5th drink. Number 4, just call the Philly special. It works 50% of the time, which is 100% of the time more likely to have a completion than throwing the ball away. Number 5, throw the ball as hard as you can at the down marker and try to get that big old 4 to turn into a big old 3 and convince the refs it's actually 3rd down. Thanks for watching. I'm Coach Magoo. It's time for
Twitter questions.
All of my questions this week come from @KurtGibson23. 1. Why is Russ playing bad in the clutch? Russell Wilson has been taking much less hits this season, but is drinking the same amount of recovery water. Without needing to recover from anything, the water is instead making him woozy late in the game, and in his personal life is making him unable to find a way to end his Instagram videos. 2. How did Tom lose today? Because he's a 12-year-old default noob who doesn't even know how to play. Like, he can't even build, and shotgun damage doesn't even do anything. I had him at like 3 health, and he should have died. 3. Will the Eagles win? By the sound of David or Russell throwing a tantrum, either Jennifer Lawrence flubbed a line or the Eagles did not win. My guess is the Eagles didn't win. After over half a season of brilliant detective work, Detective Randy was unable to find Le'Veon Bell in time, and he will become a free agent after this season. Here with his take, the guy who drafted Le'Veon Bell in my fantasy league.
Selfish, idiotic, greedy. That's what Le'Veon Bell is. When he fell to me with the full pick, I thought, man, I was going to make Shane look like a groundhog coming out of a firing pan for taking Saquon Barkley instead of him. Like a rookie, I ain't taking that risk. Rhonda, where's the basil? The basil. Le'Veon was supposed to come back. I mean, that's what everyone else does. I didn't think he'd be stupid enough, or selfish enough, or greedy enough to miss out a whole year and not help his team save by Bell. Man, I put $1,000 into this fantasy league. I'll send $10. That's not even counting the $50K I put into DraftKings by starting every week just in case, he came back at game time. I ain't taking that risk.
Only 2 weeks after leading the Browns to a 3-36-1 record in 2.5 seasons, Hugh Jackson was hired by the Bengals as the special assistant to the head coach. I know what you're saying, and it's the same thing King George III said when Americans started calling George Washington president. That job's made up. The game of the week this week was, I guess, the Giants-49ers game that ended with Eli Manning throwing a go-ahead touchdown with a minute left on Monday night. The game also featured Nick Mullins' only career loss, Eli Manning murdering somebody, and me falling asleep for the entire third quarter. Thanks for watching. This has been This Week in the National Football League with host Jared Landry. Remember to tweet at me this week if you have any football questions or need fantasy advice, or if you've seen my EpiPen because I've lost it and I haven't left my apartment because there's a bee's nest on the front porch.